Underhells Campaign. Game 3. Goliath vs Escher. Mission: Escape the Zone. In the third mission, one of the fresh gangs has a chance to appear for the first time. Goliath Combinat of the Burning Fury issued a challenge to Escher Malstrain Incarnata. Both gangs are aligned with Malstrains, however, Escher are going a step further. They are Malstrain Corrupted and are including some of the corrupted fighters. We play the same mission as in the previous game: Escape the Zone. Just some of the Ash Waste's conditions changed. Rolling Ash's condition means that a mobile fighter is treated as being in a partial cover. Custom 8 gang choice means that both gangs need to cut some of their members. Goliaths decide to take the following lineup. Combinat of the Boiling Fury is led by the Forged Tyrant Skullcrack, riding on a dirt bike, hoping to smash some heads with his power hammer. Gut Ripper is another powerful melee blender, but this one has to use his legs instead of the power of the bike to reach his enemies. Forge Boss Nightmare is one of the smarter ones, using his cleverness to sneak around and blast opponents with a combat shotgun. 3 gangers support them: Thunder Lightning with a grenade launcher, Fire Spear with bolt gun and a melee-oriented Storm Splash. 2 dramatically different vehicles close the list: a very offensive Goliath Mauler named Oppressor and Tiralot, a transport medium vehicle. On the other hand, Eschers decided to not even run any vehicles in their gang list, opting for mounts only. The gang is led by Utaha, Escher Queen, equipped with only a stiletto sword, but her Escher cutter has a twin-linked plasma gun. The second cutter is in possession of Nico, this one with a twin-linked grenade launcher. The other champion is Kiji, who prefers a set of toxin weapons in Needle Pistol and Venom Claw. The last 2 females are 2 gangers, a sister specialist with a grenade launcher and a little sister with a stiletto knife and a stub gun. The other part of the gang is corrupted by the Malstrain. 2 brood scums, one with an autogun and other with a blasting charge and a bike. The last fighter is a brute, Malstrain Gene Stealer Zastor. Fighters from each gang deploy alternatively. Escher gang creates a sort of pocket on the road in the middle of the board. Both cutters, as well as Death Maiden Kiji, Little Sister Akari and Brood Scum Abzu, deploy in a close proximity. Their flank is guarded by Anzu on dirt bike and the Gene Stealer. Goliaths decide to take over the left flank of the board, starting with a transport vehicle transporting grenade launcher ganger near the board edge. Leader Skullcrack on a bike, as well as a couple of fighters, are deployed in the ruins nearby. A second group of Goliaths try to counter and surround Eschers in the middle. Behind some obstacles, a Goliath Mauler is deployed. Not as tanky as other vehicles, it is however quite fast, and can utilize both his range firepower with twin-linked bolt gun as well capacity of running over enemies using his power ram. The final deployment of Goliaths was their infiltrating champion Nightmare, deploying just outside the regular deployment zone, behind a Mechanicus apparatus. Deploying a pair of sisters on foot in the middle was a calculated risk by an Escher player, remembering that a powerful template weapon could come via the infiltration. But with high toughness, armor, and spring-up skill on the Death Maiden, the hope was to countercharge the attacker and move up the board. Indeed, priority in the first round goes to the Goliaths, and Nightmare leaps out of the cover and fires a combat shotgun into the 2 fighters. Rolls are made against a Little Sister first. Wearing no armor, she drops on the ground seriously injured. The rolls against the Death Maiden are even more spectacular. Shredder round rolls all 6 scattershot hits, from which 2 roll 6s that were needed. Both go through Kiji's mesh armor, and a single injury die rolls a serious injury. Eschers already have to change to Plan B. They activate Anzu, who uses a bike to move closer to the ruins and lobs the blasting charge on Firespear's head. The grenade pings off the railing and drops on the ground in front of his own bike and explodes. Damage is avoided, but he fails the initiative test and falls on the ground pinned under his dirt bike. His ammo check for the grenades is also failed. Goliath Mauler vehicle advances forward and fires a salvo at one of the Escher cutters, but the shot misses and narrowly flies past Storm Splash, situated between the buildings. The situation is repeated a few moments later, when the bully specialist on the vehicle fires a crack grenade towards Escher Gene Stealer, missing, and almost hitting Storm Splash in the back from stray shot. The incompetence of his subordinates prompts Forge Tyrant to take matters in his own hands. After being shot at by Abzu's autogun, which misses and fails the ammo check, he activates and charges on his bike towards the Gene Stealer. The distance is very far, but thanks to the thundering charge tactic, the leader manages to get into base contact with the brute. 4 attacks, with the power hammer, deal just enough damage to score a killing blow. However, Zastor, in his last gasp, can attack back before being removed from the battlefield. His claws and venomous bite manage to score 2 wounds and 1 toxic injury roll. Goliaths don't want to risk it and use Unstoppable Behemoth to ignore the injury. Losing such a dangerous attacker early, as well as having a Death Maiden seriously injured, Eschers try to regroup in the middle. 2 crack grenades, one lobbed from the champion and the other by the specialist, don't do any damage however. Sororia's grenade launcher also manages to jam, most likely ending her input in the game due to 6+ reload ammo check. During the rest of activations, fighters just try to shuffle around to help with recovery rolls. Nico manages to help bandage Akari's wounds, but the more important recovery roll is not successful. Death Maiden still lies seriously injured underneath the Queen's cutter. In initial turns, all Malstrain horrors spawn near the leading edge, starting with a Gene Stealer and a pair of Tyramites in the second turn. Being so far away from all the action means they will have to cross a long area of no man's land first. Second turn sees Eschers going on the offensive, trying to turn around a dire situation. After gaining the initiative, their queen activates first. Thanks to the Violent Mind tactic card, she is able to do a lot of work. First, a salvo from the cutter's plasma gun pins an incoming stimmer, stopping his offensive. Next she charges Nightmare, taking a revenge for his first turn success. A few strikes from her stiletto sword takes him out of action with a spinal injury. Utaha consolidates next to crawling Death Maiden, hoping to stay next to her and this time helping her champion get up from serious injury in the end turn. But Goliaths don't release Escher from their grip. Skullcrack continues his rampage, this time connecting with Nico and taking her out with another series of power hammer strikes. Anzu tries to pick up his bike. After failing, he decides to shoot from the ground with his sawn-off but misses. Storm Splash charges him, but no wounds are made. The last hope of Eschers is extinguished when Oppressor seriously wounds the Queen. At the end of the turn, they voluntarily bottle and decide to retreat at the beginning of the next turn. Victory for Combinat of the Boiling Fury. Even although Goliaths won, looking at the mission summary it might seem that the results were reversed. Goliath managed to roll 2 ones for income from territory, gaining only 20 credits. At least without many credits, the poor roll for trading post does not matter. They also gain 2 reputation, 3 exploration points, and Nightmare suffers a spinal injury. For MVP, the leader wins the nomination, being the first fighter that kills a Malstrain Gene Stealer in a campaign, and also killing an enemy champion. For LVP, we decided to give it to Storm Splash, who was a victim of a lot of crossfire coming from his own gang. Shaken, when he tried to charge and kill a lowly scummer, he failed. Escher gang, on the other hand, gained a massive 90 credit roll from the territory. Not only that, despite one of their champions being in convalescence and not being able to do a trade post-battle action, they roll 13 for rarity. This means that even being Malstrain aligned, they are able to spend the credits on common and up to rarity 7 items. They don't hesitate to beef up their gang by equipping mesh armor on the gangers and a hotshot last pack for the fighter that was absent during today's mission. There was only one choice for the most valuable fighter in their gang. Well, to be frank, the only fighter on Escher's side that did anything. That is of course Queen Utaha, that managed to avenge the fallen sisters by charging and taking out Nightmare. If not for a quite lucky bolt gun shot from the vehicle, she might even try to do some more damage and stick around. As for the least valuable player, the scene where Anzu throws his blasting charge right in front of his dirt bike and falls on the ground to dodge the explosion was too funny not to grant him the award. Slowly, the first cycle of our campaign picks up the pace. Despite playing a couple of games, not many gangs even have the opportunity to buy anything yet. The campaign is locking out the gang lists outside of downtimes, and with increased rarities due to desolation level rules, it is not easy to even buy common items for the gangs. Next up in the campaign we have another Gene Stealer cult fight, this time against another newcomer to the campaign, the Slagtown Rangers, a Malstrain Corrupted Palanite enforcers. Scenario randomized for them is an Ash Wastes mission monster hunt, adapted for Underhells campaign. See you next time.